Tell us about the pyramid that you have been working on in Alaska. That is one of my all-time favorite stories of yours, and how it relates to the gods that are in antiquity.
I got a call from a man who said I had served in an intelligence unit at Fort Richardson in Alaska. And he said there were about 40 of us in a rec room one night at the end of 1993, where they were watching television just like normal after dinner. And there was a program that came on and said that there was a special about a large pyramid that had been found underground about 60 miles west of Mount McKinley in the Denali Park. And the Fort Richardson intel guy said that they all talked in the rec room about, my God, here we are in Alaska, and they're saying there's this huge pyramid, that it's underground. I want to find out more about that. After this broadcast, I thought I want to go and explore this area. So he called up the Channel 13 TV station in Anchorage and said, I just saw with other guys this show, and I would like to buy a copy of this program. And so he said, I just decided I would drive down to that station, and I asked for the manager's office, came out, and I said, I would like to pay money for a copy of that program that you had on last night about the underground pyramid in Alaska. And now he's talking to the general manager, and the general manager said, you must be mistaken. We didn't broadcast anything last night about an underground pyramid. He said, well, I was with 40 guys, and we watched it and we talked about it. It was on your station. And the manager said, no, there's been some misunderstanding. And the intel guy says, the manager goes back into his office. He's walking to leave in great confusion, and a man came toward him, said, I'm an engineer, and I just wanted to tell you, yes, we did do a broadcast. You're right. And left. So he had this mystery and said, can you help me find this videotape? I went on Coast and did an Earth Files and a Dreamland with Whitley Strieber, and we were saying, if there's anybody out there who has any information about this pyramid, please get in contact with me. And that was followed by two people, both the second generation of the first-hand experiencers. I did a series of reports with what would be the sons of men who had first-hand experiences about this big underground pyramid. And to boil it all down to perhaps the most dramatic, the son of one father, they lived on a farm, and his dad at that time in the 50s and into the early 60s, starting I think right after World War II, had worked with Bell Labs and had been part of what was then the biggest operation of the United States government after World War II, was called White Alice, and the building of the dew line up in Alaska and to the Northern Territories, with the idea that we would have some sort of a wall of monitoring the Soviet Union coming over the pole. So we put in 10, 12,000, maybe more people into the Canada, Alaska, Northern Territory areas to build the dew line and a project called White Alice. Then I talked with a pilot who said that he had some information that they probably discovered that there was a magnetic anomaly inland 60 miles west of Mount McKinley, that he did not have firsthand knowledge that there was a pyramid under the magnetic anomaly, but that it had affected planes and helicopters. One of these witnesses, beyond the man who had worked in the Bell Lab that became later on AT&T, work all the way back to after World War II, that man had told his son that he went and was assigned to work where they went in mining elevators at the surface, and that he could count by time when he got to the bottom that they were down at least 900 feet below the surface. But he said that his father described for him in great detail how at the bottom of this pyramid, the father was able to work only on one vertex. You know, you think of a pyramid, the pyramid top was 150 feet from the surface. So here's the surface with grass and trees, come down 150 feet, here's the top of the vertex, then come down another 750 feet, and that the scientist was working, he was an electrical engineer with physics background. He was assigned to work on one vertex and told his son that they learned that this could generate enough power to power the entire nation of Canada. I got a contact from another son who said, my dad flew in a helicopter with an Air Force crew, and they went from the west coast of Alaska, and they went by time and the distance of the helicopter would have been about to a point about 60 miles west of Mount McKinley. The father could see Mount McKinley, and that as they approached a certain place, the pilot told his father, just stand by, it's going to get rough, I've been briefed, don't worry. And the father said, what is wrong? And he said, well, we've got a pyramid here, it's underground, and I've been told that it's extremely ancient, our government does not know who made it, it is deep underground, we're trying to study it, and that he understood that it could power Canada, might power the world, that something about this big pyramid had the ability to put out a great deal of energy, and that it caused magnetic anomalies, and that suddenly the helicopter began to buck like a horse, and the pilot got the helicopter down, but they did not fully land. As the helicopter came down, just barely touching the ground, these men, security guards with guns, they opened the door, pulled out whatever the cargo was, which was extremely heavy, pulled it out onto the ground, and one of the people with the gun said, take off now. And they took off. Now that is anecdotal, and as well as the other, because both of those fathers are not here, they passed on, but the sons at least are a secondhand testimony about quite detailed discussions with their fathers. And in the second case, the mother has talked to me and communicated to me that what her son told me was true, and that she has always told him, you can't ever give out our name because of the consequences that people have on pensions, if they have signed non-disclosure agreements and their names are out there and somebody can tie a family or family name, then there can be punishment, that sort of thing. Those are the dominoes that fall around these stories, and why it is so difficult to get people on the record with real names, real backgrounds. And I think at this point, I've had 2 emails and 1 handwritten letter, literally handwritten in cursive, sent to me in hard mail saying, want you to know I have firsthand information the underground pyramid in Alaska is real. How far back and what has been the influence of extraterrestrials on this planet, like the DIA guy told me 270 million years ago, 3 competing civilizations, and that we humans, Homo sapiens sapien, got down on our knees and called them gods. And that right now on this planet, the death and destruction over whose God is better than another God is insane. So if there are non-humans who can put a stop to this by at least telling us the truth, about what our past has been, what is going on in the present, and are they going to come back? Is there going to be any straightforward introduction of non-humans to this planet, let's say in this century? It's way past time that this occurred. We need to know we're not alone in this universe, and that David and Jim and Mike and others, we are talking on a general basis sometimes with people who have knowledge. They know exactly what the government has been hiding, and that the gods, the return of the gods, is the straightforward telling the truth, acknowledgement that other life forms in this universe have been interacting with this planet for a long time, and we need to know what exactly the truth is.